Let's talk about how the Trump administration is trying to ban birth control, because they're doing it right in front of our faces. As of today, they have frozen $35 million in Title X funding. That is funding that is supposed to go towards birth control access for low-income and uninsured Americans. You can see on the map, and you can find the map at Abortion Every Day with more details, but essentially overnight, 8 states now have zero Title X funds. Zero. Other states have had most of their funding stripped. Some states have had some of their funding stripped. But again, this is money that's supposed to go towards low-income Americans, and not just for contraception, but for cancer screenings, STI testing, reproductive health care in general. Why did they have their funding frozen? One group called Converge, which is the sole Title X grantee in Mississippi, so they serve all of Mississippi and parts of Tennessee, they got a letter from the Department of Health and Human Services that said, we are withholding your funding because in 2020 we think you broke the law when you published a statement opposing racism in the wake of George Floyd's murder. So just to be clear, the Trump administration is withholding $5 million for low-income people's cancer screenings and birth control because a group opposed racism. And I want to make sure people understand this, because Republicans are going to frame this as them just defunding Planned Parenthood, which they said they were going to do. And this was an attack on Planned Parenthood because Planned Parenthood had multiple affiliates attacked, their funding was frozen, but this goes far beyond that. This is part of a much broader attack that conservatives laid out in Project 2025. They essentially detailed how they wanted to not just gut Title X funding, but reallocate those hundreds of millions of dollars to religious groups, marriage promotion programs, essentially crisis pregnancy centers, so that they were stripping real reproductive health clinics of their money, running them out of town, and replacing them with crisis pregnancy centers that tell people that birth control is going to kill you, or birth control is a sin, whatever bullshit they're spewing these days. And this is part of the way they ban birth control. You don't need a law that says birth control is illegal if you make it impossible for people to get.